If you have not watched part 1, please do that before continuing this video. Guys, I'm back here to give you part 2 of the series. Now, the last part ended with the death of Superman. This part will deal with how the rest of the heroes are dealing with Clark's death. Spoilers ahead for all DCEU movies. It's the first movie after Superman's death. It starts with a news story on his death. We then find out that we are in an old, small, worn-down apartment, and we see our hero watching the story with a concerned and confident look on his face. He then runs off in a speed of light. Now, I picture the Flash as a huge fanboy of Superman, and when he got his powers, he wanted to be just like Supes. So, Barry runs off to the Central City Police Department to talk to his father. He tells his father that he wants to be the next big hero. His father, being concerned about his son's health, tells him that he doesn't think that Barry should be going out and picking fights. In this next part, we really focus on the backstory and why the dad is in prison. Barry explains that the night his mother was murdered, he saw the red and yellow lights in the other man, and he knows that his father did not kill his mother. He then says that he wants to catch the real bad guys so no one has to go through what his family did that night, and then he runs off. In the next scene, I wanted to be kind of like a montage of Barry stopping crimes, and what we can do is have a whole bunch of Easter eggs through some of the Flash's lesser-known foes, like the Trickster, Mirror Master, etc., etc. But after each one, he's getting more and more cocky until he meets the main villain of the movie, Leonard Snart, aka Captain Cold. In their first fight, Barry runs at Snart but gets hit by the cold gun that slows him down, to the point that Captain Cold is able to escape with no problem at all. Barry then goes back to his father for advice, and he says that he knows that Barry isn't going to stop, and now he understands that Barry shouldn't stop, but he wants him to know that his powers make him his own hero, not like Superman. He then says that since Barry now knows how this guy operates, that maybe he can do or make something Snart won't expect, like making a new suit that can withstand Snart's coldness. So, with some forensic lab equipment, he is able to make his new suit, and then he goes after Snart, and right when Leonard sees him, he realizes that his gun won't help him with the new suit. So, he goes to run, but every time he turns around, Barry is already in front of him. At a certain point, Snart yells, "Enough!" and pulls out a regular gun, but Barry takes the gun away. As he does this, Snart gets a knife in his other hand. Leonard stabs Barry with his knife, and that leaves a small opening on Barry's suit for the cold gun to hit and slow him down. Snart then says that the only living being that can withstand a hit from this gun is Superman, and he is dead. Barry then stands up and says, "Just because I'm a man that isn't a super doesn't mean I can't stop a thug like you." We then get a cool scene where Barry is dodging bullets and the cold beams at the same exact time until he finally catches Snart and ties him to the wall for the cops to take him off to jail. The movie ends with Barry's father looking out a window and sees Barry running, and he says, "Run, Barry, run." The first post-credit scene of the movie is Snart sitting in prison with his cellmate, and his cellmate says, "Hey man, I got a job for you. How would you like to be a member of a terrifying villain group?" We then see that the guy who is talking is Deadshot. The second post-credit scene is that it shows the Allen family home 20 years ago, and it shows Barry seeing his mom getting murdered by the guy in the yellow suit. The next movie is Under the Sea. Wait, no, not that one. We're actually going to the city of Atlantis with Aquaman, not Sebastian. So, the real movie was so well done that the only thing I hated was him talking in those water bottle things. Those have to go, and of course, the very few Justice League references that the real movie had obviously has to go well. The movie ends with Aquaman going back to the surface because he heard of Superman's death. I would even keep the post-credits scene of referencing the team-up between Black Manta and Dr. Stephen Shin. I would add a post-credit scene, though, that shows Bruce and Diana in the Batcave looking at a computer, and on the screen is videos of Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg, and they look at each other with a satisfying nod. The final movie of this part, we are going back to Gotham City with the Batman sequel. The villain is Clayface. In this movie, Bruce is really going through a rough time with the deaths of Robin and Superman. He has fully convinced himself that he should have been there to stop the murder of Robin and that he shouldn't have treated Clark like a criminal. Commissioner Gordon tells Batman that Oliver Queen tried to rob a bank earlier in the day. Bruce says that's nothing new, he's just a teenage little brat. Gordon says that is true, but earlier in the week, he was in a boating accident and hasn't been found since. Bruce says that he is confident that they are more than capable of handling this. Gordon says fine, then hangs up. Gordon and a whole bunch of cops go to arrest the imposter Queen, but they get destroyed. We don't see his true form yet. Bruce still feels like he's not ready to go and confront this guy yet. This is when Alfred shows up and basically says that if Robin was still here, we want Bruce to go after this guy. Bruce does eventually go after Clayface, but he is destroyed because Clayface keeps shape-shifting into people who's died, like Superman and his parents and Robin, and this gets to Batman, and this allows Clayface to escape. After the fight, Bruce, as Batman, goes to visit Gordon in the hospital, but he's on heavy meds, so he quickly passes out. Batman then goes to do some detective stuff and finds that an explosion happened that could have caused someone to have the powers that Clayface has. This gives Batman an idea of new equipment to help him fight and defeat Clayface. He goes to the final fight with the new equipment, and Clayface goes and shapeshifts into Commissioner Gordon. But Batman says, "Not this time," and defeats him with the new equipment. Clayface's powers are temporarily gone and is arrested. The movie ends with Diana showing up and asking if Batman is back, and Batman just smiles and nods his head. The post-credit scene for this movie is Batman looking for Robin's killer, and he finds that an Octum doctor by the name of Harleen Quinzel has disappeared. Thanks for watching part 2 of this series, and please like, comment, and subscribe.